Hello to the learners of this course, The Contemporary World. Welcome back to this channel where you can learn lessons in grammar, communication, and the rest in globalization. It's me again, your teacher Ria, and together, let's unleash your skills in English. For today's topic, we are to talk about the introduction to the study of globalization. In this lesson, you are expected to differentiate the competing conceptions of globalization, identify the underlying philosophies of the varying definitions of globalization, and agree on a working definition of globalization for the course. People nowadays prefer instant things, or those that are hassle-free or convenient to do. For the workaholics who don't have time to cook, they prefer ordering from fast food restaurants, McDonald's for example. But have you ever noticed how our fast food restaurants expanded to have not just only one originating branch, but also many other branches from the rest of the world? Technology for another example. This, that, those were the old times. But what do we have now? We are now utilizing more advanced products of technology because of its innovation. Most of the many progressive changes we experience nowadays, from technological advancements to the expansion of commercial businesses, such as those with the fast food restaurants, are because of globalization. But what is globalization and when did it begin? Since its first appearance in the Webster's Dictionary in 1961, many opinions about globalization have existed. While encountering the word globalization for the first time can lead you to confusion because of its many competing conceptions, let's clear up that mind by taking a closer look on how scholars and professionals view globalization. Bauman, one of the most influential intellectuals in Europe during his time, defined globalization as the most important change of all the many changes that human beings have encountered over the last century. While according to Albrow in his book, The Global Age, State and Society Beyond Modernity, he stated that globalization makes us see ourselves as part of what we refer to as the global age. The most important change? We are part of the global age. If we are to collate these two ideas, it initially emphasizes that globalization shapes the life of modern society. It highlights that humanity these days embraces the gift of globalization as it deals with economic progress, industrial development, or even the advent of technology, which made the biggest impacts to everything we have today, from our daily living activities to communication across our national boundaries. Nowadays, in our globalizing world, we can now easily and conveniently connect to the rest of the world simply by using the internet. It is therefore understood that the advent of technology, especially the born of the internet, made a huge contribution to what we call now globalization. So, are you happy that we are living in a globalized world? I know your answer. Let's dig deeper. A Swedish journalist, Thomas Larsson, in his book, The Race to the Top, The Real Story of Globalization, stated that globalization is viewed as the process of world shrinkage, of distances getting shorter, things moving closer. Well, from this, we all know that as time passes by, our world becomes smaller and smaller. And if we are to look back from our past and try to compare it to today, it is so much different. Different in a way that how we have access to information, transportation, or even the international market in the past is so much different to the kind of digital age that we have now. During the time, buying a product coming from another country is only of privilege to the rich. So they could either go to that country to buy the product personally or make a telephone call to order, but of course, it would take them an enormous amount of time before they can finally receive it. While at present, even if you're not rich, you can also access the international market in just one click. And that is because the advent of technology. So everything nowadays has become more accessible. Everything nowadays has made our distances shorter and things closer. And that is how Larson defines globalization. Moreover, Larson in his book is pertaining to the increasing ease of different people in each part of the world to interact for mutual benefits. What are these mutual benefits? For example, countries do travel. They do communicate across their national boundaries because these countries have similar purposes which will be a benefit to both of them in the end. So it could either be these countries or after with having national security, support for calamities, innovation of technology, or even the eradication of extreme poverty, of course, because that is a global issue that has been trying to addressed by the United Nations. Anyway, let's have another video for that. But here's the thing. Did you know that even before the growth of globalization, where we only had limited means of transportation and communication, we were already globalizing? Yes, that has something to do with what Martin Core, the former president of the Third World Network, once regarded about globalization. According to Core, globalization is colonization. Well. Some historians date the beginning of globalization to the earliest days of recorded human history, when people began traveling by ships to different regions or countries which were distant from their homes but still aimed to travel for a specific purpose. And what was that? To colonize. If we are to define colonization, according to Blakemore from National Geographic, it is defined as the control of one power over a dependent area or people. It occurs when one person subjugates another, conquering its population and exploiting it, and often forcing its language and cultural values upon its people. Let us expound that definition by going back to our history. Years ago, we can think of that the Philippines was colonized, not just by the Americans and the Japanese, but of course by the Spaniards who made the longest colonization in the country for more than 300 years. So during their time, we Filipinos were forced to adopt and embrace their culture and values. Well, that might have sounded negative to you, but we shouldn't forget that during their time, a positive effect of their colonization has happened because they introduced Christianity to us Filipinos. For we all know that before they came, most of us are just adoring the trees and the forests, and we don't have actually a specific religion. So, at some point, there is a great advantage of globalization being regarded as colonization. Well, understanding the meaning of globalization and its significance is really not that easy, especially if it's your first time to encounter the term. It would really take you an amount of time, more lessons to tackle to widen your horizon about globalization. But whatever your understanding is, let us not forget that globalization is not a single word, nor a single concept. Anyways, as we move forward to more of our videos soon about this course, The Contemporary World, will provide you a further and deeper understanding about it. I hope that you have learned something from me today. Once again, I am your teacher, Ria, and I am so much grateful for you guys for being with me until the end of this video. So, thank you so much and see you again next time.